What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Appreciate you for tuning back in. Still like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. Now, today I want to talk about something that it's a lot of controversy over. It's a lot of back and forth, like most things I talk about. Today I want to talk about home ownership. Yeah, the big elephant in the room. Okay, more background information on myself. I own 5 properties right now, currently rental properties, and I can honestly tell you, I can understand why some people say it doesn't make sense to own a home. I used to, when I was younger, I could never understand it. I thought it made no sense in the world, but hear me out. For one, the problem with home ownership nowadays is a lot of people don't want starter homes anymore. Everybody wants to jump to a mini mansion. Everybody think their house has to cost $400,000, $500,000, and they need to have the nicest house on the block, the biggest pool, the biggest backyard. That kind of kills the dream of home ownership for a lot of people just because our standards are set so high. Like, okay, I was just watching a video, a clip of a man from Southfield, Michigan. I'm from Detroit, Michigan, by the way. So a lot of times I'm referencing things is usually in Detroit or in the surrounding areas. Southfield, Michigan is a small little city inside of Michigan on the outskirts of Detroit. They're known for having the highest property taxes. So a guy was complaining about the fact that his property taxes are ridiculous and they constantly keep going up. People are basically getting priced out of owning homes because property taxes are so high. And that's the one thing a lot of people don't take into account is that property taxes go up every year and they're based on how much the home costs, the surrounding area, the school district, basically all the stuff in the surrounding areas. Property taxes could be ridiculous if you own a real expensive house. Like I have friends who own homes that's upwards of 500,000, 600,000, some $1 million homes. Property taxes are ridiculous. I'm saying 15 grand, 20 grand a year. And if you really do the math, you paying 20 grand a year, you're basically almost paying 2 grand a month just in taxes. That's not including upkeep, maintenance, anything, updates, anything you want to do. That's not including that. You're already basically paying rent. Now, don't get me wrong, $2,000 a month, you're not going to get a mini mansion, but in my area, you're going to get something nice. I've stayed in apartments that was $2,000, $3,000 a month, and it was worth the money in my eyes. Some people would disagree. We don't care about their opinion right now. What I'm saying is home ownership, especially if you're getting a mortgage, can be a lot more costly than rent. So I hear a lot of back and forth because some people just assume that just because you own your home, it's better because one day you're going to be able to pay it off and you might be able to sell it. Or even if you don't sell it, you still have the option of keeping it in a family, generational wealth, and so on and so forth. To be completely honest with you, home ownership, one home usually doesn't pass over too much generational wealth for most people. That, just to be honest with you, most of the time when you pass that home down, the kids, you got multiple kids, the first thing they're going to do is sell it, split the money up, go blow it, everybody back in the same spot again. Not too many people got multi-million-dollar houses to the point where it's like going to change someone's life. Or somebody's going to end up staying in it for the rest of their life, which is a leg up. But at the same time, it's still just one house. One house, for the most part, is not changing too many of you guys' life. If you pay rent for 30 years versus paying off a mortgage for 30 years, yes, at the end of the day, you're going to own your home. But at the same time, you still could get priced out. And that's what happened to a lot of the baby boomers. And for people who don't know who baby boomers are, older people. A lot of the older people, once they finally finish paying off their mortgage, their income drops significantly because it's a 30-year mortgage and now they're in their 60s. They're retired. They don't make as much money as they used to. But guess what does go up? Property taxes, maintenance. 30 years after owning that home, now you need a whole new roof. The roof, 15 grand, 20 grand. You need new gutters. That's another 5,000. The windows you have is outdated. The electrical system might be outdated. You might have to spend another 50,000 just in repairs after owning a home for 30 years. And that's not including the little stuff that tend to go out a lot quicker, like hot water tanks, furnace systems, just wear and tear stuff. You might want to redo the countertops in the kitchen. That's another 10 grand you about to spend. A lot of that you have to take into accountability when you're thinking about owning a home. Yes, I love real estate. I will definitely encourage people to own homes. I'm not knocking that, but shop within your budget and plan for the future. Plan for the future. Don't just run and get the most expensive house you can find. Start off with a starter home. There's nothing wrong with that. Everybody feel like they got to keep up with the Joneses, and it's like the new trend is to pretend to be rich or try to be rich, which is nothing wrong with trying to accumulate wealth. But you don't accumulate wealth by being risky with your money, by making rash decisions, by not thinking all the way through. A 30-year mortgage is a very long time. You're literally planning 30 years of having a certain type of income. You really want to bank on that? And even if you pay cash for a home, like a lot of athletes do it, a lot of entertainers do it. People who come into money quickly. A lot of them, that's the first thing they do. They go buy the biggest, most expensive house. Some of them paying cash, cash it out. And then when them contracts dry up or that off season come or they get injured and they're not playing and making all that money or the movie's not popping like it used to, what happened? That $50,000 in property taxes come. That $3,200 heating bill come. That gas bill ain't no joke. That electricity ain't no joke. And don't let you have kids. They want a new decorated room every week. Your wife, she used to live in a certain life. She want to decorate the living room. She don't like none of it. Everything outdated. She got to throw it away. You got to think about stuff like that. The refrigerator, you don't like it no more. The dishwasher done went out. This and the new washer and dryer you need. The lawn so big, you got to pay $300 every time it get cut. And that's being modest. With rent, you don't pay any of that. That's why they have HOA fees. And I still would suggest moving somewhere with an HOA fee because that goes up yearly too. So that's another income-based thing that you will have to think about. It's a lot of stuff that comes into home ownership that's not talked about. And I didn't really know about until I started owning properties and started seeing how much I actually spend on owning homes. I purchased my first house when I was 20 years old. And I lived in it. And I spent so much money fixing up the home because it was a dilapidated property when I purchased it. So it needed a lot of work. And I spent so much money fixing it up. I was like, man, I could have paid rent for like 2-3 years. But lucky for me, I bought a starter house. I wasn't in the bird. My property taxes my first year was $1,500. That's nothing. That's $100, a little over $100 a month. That's nothing. Heating and gas was not that expensive. I bought a nice 3-bedroom house. Nothing too crazy. And it worked out for me in the end. But I know a lot of people that went a lot bigger than me and they did not have the same results. Be more mindful when you're planning your future, especially if you're planning it and you don't have children or you do have them currently and you plan on having more or you plan on getting married. Life creep is not a joke. So yes, I would recommend that some people rent until they or go purchase a starter home and learn the feeling of home ownership before you go all out. You test drive a car before you buy it. Test drive owning a home. Don't go get a crazy expensive house. Get something nice. I'm not saying get a piece of crap, but get something decent. But don't go for the $1 million home. No, get something decent. Get something you can work with. Look, if you really want to ask, if you're getting a mortgage, ask the owner of the home how much is the utility bills a month. You can ask that. Ask them how much is their utility bills. Ask them how much is the taxes. A lot of people don't even ask how much taxes are every year before they purchase the home because nobody thinks to think about that. It's included in the mortgage payment. I'm good. I ain't worried about that because they paying in the mortgage. What about in 30 years when your mortgage get paid off? Now you worried about a tax bill? You should have been worried about it then. Or what about when your mortgage doubles? Like the house I'm currently in now, the taxes this year doubled from last year. Inflation, crazy. The property values in Detroit are going up so much right now. Our property taxes are getting ridiculous. My property taxes doubled. Like I said, if I was paying a mortgage on this house, that mortgage, that would go up. Yeah, because they hold your taxes in escrow when you get a mortgage. So your mortgage, $1,500 go from $1,500 to $2,300. Now you paying an extra $800 a month, and it's not going to anything but taxes because your taxes went ridiculously crazy. And a lot of people don't know that because a lot of people don't know about home ownership. They just want to argue. Why would I just be paying rent to somebody else helping them get rich? Most landlords really was rich before they became landlords. To be honest with you, a lot of people don't understand that. Most people who get into real estate, they come with the money. Real estate is a very expensive business. Take it from somebody who started from the bottom. I spent a ridiculous amount of money on real estate. Ridiculous. And I'm still not where I feel like I should be. A lot of people, they come into real estate not even looking to really make money. They come into it just to avoid taxes. They looking to save money. Most landlords don't make a killing off rental property, especially if they have mortgages on them. The little money you're spending in rent most of the time, when it comes to the upkeep, the taxes that constantly go up, and the fact that you're a tenant that's using wear and tear on the house, it's not really that much money, man. I know people who's making $200-300 profit on a house, and a renter running around acting like they giving them a $1 million lifestyle. Like, man, that the landlord still got a job. You don't even know your landlord still got a job. Stop pocket watching. People pocket watch so much, don't even know what they talking about, man. Take it from a landlord. We a lot of us really doing y'all a favor right now. Even when the rent increases, it's still the same profit for us. And to all the people that's thinking about doing home ownership, start reading books. Go to YouTube University. I know it get laughed at a lot, but go to YouTube University. Start researching. Start reaching out to local real estate agents. Talk to somebody you know that owns a home, so you can really get the gist and break it down and start learning stuff before y'all just jump and want to brag about something. Because a lot of y'all signing 360 deals with them mortgage companies. Yeah, and if you do, make sure you get a fixed rate. I got a property right now, not a fixed rate. My interest rate went up from 8.5% to 12.5%. I mean, that's a lot for a lot of people if you know percentages. So that payment went up. It went up. So before you just be rash and want to run out and just say, I own something, do your due diligence. Make sure you know what you're really getting yourself into. Check, like, really talk to talk to your landlord. Get cool with your landlord, ask him how much he making, and you will be like, okay, you know what, I might just stay a couple more years. Your landlord making $200 off that house profit after insurance, because insurance, a lot of things people don't think about. Insurance costs money, especially in a place like Detroit. Insurance costs. We've been getting away with property taxes for a while in Detroit because our property values were so messed up and it was just a poverty-stricken city. We're coming back. And just where I'm at. Other places, they been getting taxed. They used to this. I was shocked. I was shocked. I was so sick. Imagine, all my property's taxes went up. During tax season, I see everybody running around smiling, happy. They about to get their little refund. Man, I'm down there at the Wayne County Treasurer about to get them $10,000. I'm about to cry. I'm about to come out 10, 15 grand every year. But that little 6,000-7,000 y'all be running around here talking about, happy about, I'll be like, man, I'm just trying to break even. I just don't want to owe the taxes at the end of the year. I mean, I'm going to owe property taxes, but I hope I don't owe any income taxes, because that's another thing. I don't owe the IRS. You don't want to play with them either. Now that I'm not gonna get into that because that doesn't have anything to do with this video. That was just a side note. But do your due diligence. Talk to people. Talk to other people that own properties, especially if you planning on getting a mortgage. 9 times out of 10, you know somebody with a mortgage. Ask how much their payments done went up since they owned the home. Well, since they've been paying a mortgage, they don't really own it yet. That's another thing, misconception. You really don't own the home. Like, you own it, but you don't really own it. You kind of got a partnership between you and the bank, because you are allowed to sell it under certain rules and regulations. You are allowed to rent it out under certain rules and regulations. So you do own it. You're a part owner, though. You're not like a full owner. When you sell that house, you got to get them their money. So you got to get them the back end, and you keep the profit. So it's not really yours all the way. Just take that into mind. I appreciate you again for tuning in. Like I said, like, comment, subscribe. DM me on Instagram. Feel free to follow me anytime. Any new topics you guys want me to touch on, please feel free to reach out. Like I said, I'm not big enough to not read comments, so comment as much as y'all can. I'm out.